Alright, so apparently America is having its "we are not doing this again" moment. Because across the country, millions of people just hit the streets under one banner: No Kings. No, it's not a vegan protest against Burger King. It's a full-blown coast-to-coast pushback against what protesters are calling President Trump's authoritarian overreach. And before you scroll away thinking this is just another protest, hold up. This one's happening in the middle of a government shutdown, with troops deployed in blue states and ICE raids back in the headlines. So yeah, America's kinda on fire right now. So here's what's happening. Over 2,500 rallies are taking place in cities big and small. From New York to Des Moines to Silver Spring, Maryland. Shout out to that Beltway overpass crew holding it down. The movement slogan: No Kings, power belongs to the people. The message is simple. They say Trump's administration is becoming too authoritarian. The flashpoint: mass ICE raids, National Guard deployments, and federal troops sent into states with Democratic governors. Organizers say this isn't about party politics, it's about democracy itself. Or as one protester sign in New York put it, we fought a whole revolution so we wouldn't have kings. And honestly, fair point. In Washington, D.C., crowds are spilling out from the National Mall. Organizers like Liz Catania told CNN their top priority is safety and nonviolence. She said, "We want people to protest safely, even amid fears of political violence." Which, if you lived in America over the past few years, yeah, that fear is real. They even had volunteers undergo de-escalation training and daily security briefings. So no, these aren't random mobs. They're organized and they came prepared. Meanwhile, in New York, the protest looks more like a parade. There are bagpipes, drums, banners that say "People over billionaires," and of course, the classic chant, "This is what democracy looks like." You've got union groups, climate activists, immigrant rights organizations, and apparently people in unicorn costumes. Look, it's 2025. We express dissent however we can. Even Massachusetts Congressman Jim McGovern showed up to one rally saying, "We will not back down to Donald Trump. Protest is what this country was founded on." And honestly, that's the most American sentence ever uttered while holding a reusable coffee cup. Now, if you're watching the footage, you might notice something. A sea of yellow. Yellow bandanas, yellow ribbons, yellow flags. No, it's not a Minions convention. It's actually symbolic. The color yellow has been used in nonviolent resistance movements worldwide. Hong Kong's umbrella movement, South Korea's civil protests, and even by activists in occupied Ukraine. According to the No Kings website, yellow is a bright, unmistakable reminder that America belongs to its people, not to kings. So basically, it's like democracy's highlighter. And you know what? That's kind of poetic. Peaceful protest, but make it fashion. Alright, here's where it gets tricky. These protests aren't happening in a vacuum. They're happening while the federal government is shut down. For over 2 weeks, Congress has been gridlocked over a funding bill. Democrats say Trump is holding the government hostage to push executive power. Republicans say Democrats are refusing to negotiate. And Trump's team, they've dismissed the No Kings movement as anti-American theater. Which, let's be honest, is kinda ironic, because if there's one thing America is known for, it's theater. But this protest is about more than one issue. It's about people saying, hey, this administration is deploying troops on U.S. soil and ramping up ICE raids. Is this still democracy, or are we inching to a monarchy? Hence the name, No Kings. Now, Trump supporters argue the president's just enforcing law and order, not seizing power. They say these protests are media-fueled hysteria. And here's the truth. Both sides have a point worth hearing. Protesters are exercising their democratic right. Supporters are asking for respect for elected authority. That's America in a nutshell. A never-ending tug-of-war between freedom and control. While protests were lighting up the East Coast, something wild was happening out west. California Governor Gavin Newsom had to close part of Interstate 5 near Camp Pendleton because the Marines were holding live-fire demonstrations for their 250th anniversary. Yeah, they were literally firing artillery over a highway. The governor's office said it was too dangerous and would distract drivers. Trump's vice president, J.D. Vance, attended the event. He's the first Marine VP in U.S. history. Newsom said, firing live rounds over a busy highway isn't just wrong, it's dangerous. Which, yeah, you think. Imagine trying to explain to your insurance company, no, my windshield didn't crack, the Marine Corps did. Here's what's clear. The No Kings protests aren't just about Trump. They're about American anxiety. People are exhausted by shutdowns, political division, and the sense that democracy feels fragile. Remember, this same movement started back in June, after the first wave of troop deployments in Democratic states. Since then, the protests have only grown, not faded. That tells you something. It's not just political, it's existential. It's people saying, we are supposed to be democracy. We can't just give that up, even if we are scared. And that's the interesting paradox of democracy. It's messy, loud, and sometimes ridiculous, but it survives because people keep showing up. Now let's zoom out. Whether you love Trump or can't stand him, one thing's undeniable. He's reshaping how Americans view power. For his supporters, he's a strong hand America needs. For his critics, he's proved that unchecked power corrodes democracy. But here's the kicker. Both sides are participating in democracy, one by governing, the other by resisting. That's how it's supposed to work. When citizens stop protesting, stop questioning power, that's when you really lose freedom. So in a strange way, the No Kings rallies are proof that democracy is still alive. Bruised, sure. Exhausted, absolutely. But alive. So yeah, America's out here marching, yelling, honking, chanting, no kings. And whether you think they're heroes or hypocrites, you've got to admit they are showing up. Because democracy isn't about silence, it's about noise. And right now, that noise sounds like people reminding their leaders, you work for us. I'm Mazhar, this was a breakdown. If you liked the video, hit the like button, share it with your friends, and do subscribe to the channel for more such videos. Thank you for watching.